Hello, and welcome to the Casino Tears podcast. I'm one of your hosts, 10 Ton is number one, and joining me as my co-host is the one and only Ed Robinson from Roll to Win Craps. If you want more info on our show, please visit our page at casinotears.com. On this week's show, we discuss Dice Coach Dials In, Fremont, Kicked Out Again, Controlled Luck. We also touch on stadium craps, sister numbers, dominant numbers, across betting, tornadoes, nerves, and Ed's public service announcements. What's up, Ed?
Bad storms coming tomorrow night.
What about tonight?
Mostly West Alabama tomorrow night, but they say tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night into Sunday morning, everybody should expect to just die.
Oh, man.
I see the Beaudry Parker B up there.
Yo, 10 Ton, Casino Tears. Look at you. Look at you. You're looking really, really good tonight.
Oh, my God.
You usually have your hat on backwards. What the hell's going on?
I could put it on backwards.
No, I like it like that. That looks good.
I was just saying it's fucking hot in here right now. Is it hot?
Turn up the air conditioning.
I know.
Turn your AC
I
on.
just did.
Bo, lower your camera a little bit.
Get him all set up, okay, Ed?
Yeah, there you go.
Is that better?
Oh, yeah. That'll get you in the center of the screen. Yep,
Ed, I'm proud you got your Casino Tears shirt on.
I do.
Yeah, you do, because this is the first episode I've been on and you've had it on. I always have mine on. See mine? We can't see it.
No, I
here.
can't see it.
Here you go. Here.
There you go.
You don't want me to go any lower, though.
Nope. I don't. I really don't.
You really don't. No, trust me. It's all good. So what's happening, guys?
Well, I told him we're sitting here. We're under a state of emergency for the state for the next 48 hours.
Weather?
We've got tornadoes. They've got this weather dot plot, so to speak.
Weather dot plot. All right.
Yeah.
You
So
need that.
the Weather Service says that where I am, there's a 50% chance that you're going to have a tornado within 25 miles of any location.
That's a little too close.
I've been through one. This room is my tornado shelter.
Is that a cellar?
Yeah, it's in the basement. So
That's what I mean. A big
He's in a Bob shelter. He built it.
bomb shelter.
it's underground right there. We've got some spare helmets, old motorcycle helmets, that kind of thing sitting under here. I'll put my grandkids underneath the table with their helmets on tomorrow night if we have one headed this way.
Wow. You know what? You can have those damn things. We don't have those.
I've been
here.
through one. It wasn't a lot of fun.
Well, I can imagine it would be.
I mean, we got grazed. I'm going to put it that way. We got grazed by one. We had one that, it destroyed houses half a block away.
Holy shit. That's too close for comfort.
I had $50,000 worth of damage to my old house.
Now, does your insurance cover that shit?
Yes, sir.
Does it really? Well, do you have to have special tornado insurance?
Craps
No?
table insurance.
Crap table.
He's got a couple of them down there.
Yeah.
Prepper.
Homes were destroyed all around me. I mean, it was just kind of weird. We were grazed. We were very fortunate. We had a tree that should have fallen on the house, but we had built a deck out to the tree, and we was in like 6 inches of, right up against the tree. And so it fell to the deck, and then it just rolled right down the side of the house instead of on the house. If it had fallen in the house, it would have been totaled. Yeah.
That's not good.
Big oak.
100-year-old oak tree?
It was about 5 feet in diameter, 4 or 5 feet in diameter.
That's a big ass tree. Now, we have twigs in Vegas. We don't have trees like that. Our trees are not even a twig on your tree.
I'm a little bit concerned about tomorrow. I mean, they just normally say chance of tornadoes, blah, blah, blah. But this time they're coming out, take pictures, take videos of everything in your homes. I mean, they're really preaching it this time. So hopefully they're mistaken, but.
Or maybe a blow off course or something. It'd be great.
I don't know. I mean, the whole state is under a state of emergency.
What are you doing there? Why aren't you in Biloxi then?
They're under it too.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, come on back to Vegas. We don't have that stuff.
Yeah. So
shouldn't have left.
There was a little mini tornado last night. I went to Fremont for the first time ever, Ed.
Are you crazy?
What'd you do?
You went to Fremont?
Did you go down to the Fremont? Did you go to the Fremont Hotel or Casino?
I did. Even made Bump John Valet Park.
Okay,
why did you go to that 14-foot table for?
That's a good table, though. I like those tables.
Okay, Ed. So it's weird. It's not necessarily a 14-footer. I feel like it's in between. It's like this odd size. It's not 12, but it's
14 foot. It's 14 foot on the outside.
I'm telling you, maybe they say it is.
It's a long,
but it's not totally.
Longer than 12.
Yeah, but it's not 14. It's like somewhere in
All
that
right, 13 and a
gray
half.
zone. Let's say it. Okay, we'll argue
I'd
over
go
that.
back in there and measure it for you, but I can't, as you know.
Oh, wait, did I inadvertently lead into this good story?
I don't know. Listen, now valet there. Did you pull under the tunnel and they valeted it for you?
Yeah, just pulled up.
Yeah, they just take the vehicle
Yeah.
and that's why I always park there. I give them $5 coming in. Said, if you don't scratch my truck, I'll give you $5 coming out. Never get scratched.
I wasn't going to go down there, but Bump John, I'm like, listen, if you pick me up, I'll go down there. I'll pay for your gas. Anyway, I went down there.
$15 game?
Yeah, it was a $15 game. One table open, and I just camped out. There were like 3 people on stools when I got there.
Yeah, of course, they're old. They had a roll to win table in there too, didn't they?
They took out the digital timer that I saw when I walked through there a year ago.
Yeah, that's gone. I don't know why they did that.
A quick little update before we get into that story,
Sure.
Bo. Okay. So Ed, I lost 2,500. All right. There. I'll just cut to the chase. Yeah.
At Fremont?
Yep.
How in the hell do you lose $2,500 at Fremont?
Hey man, I was just getting
Because you take 2,500.
Ed.
What was your buy-in? What was your buy-in?
2,500.
God damn it. 10 ton?
That's all I had in cash. But listen, it's okay. To me, it's cost of doing business. Ed, I got to tell you something. That table, I feel like I can do the same thing at that table, what I do at Palms.
Nope.
I really do. That table is the hardest. So listen, Ed, let me just tell you. Let me just tell you guys something.
They give away hats. When you got to give away hats to play on your freaking table, it ain't a table you want to be on.
So that is, in my opinion, the hardest table I've ever played on by far. Okay.
Yeah. But you're 7.5 feet. You're going to have to practice from one hook to the other to even get close to that, simulating that toss.
So what happened
He needs to practice on his betting strategies is what he needs to do.
Needs to practice on, yeah. Yeah, but that's 70% of his game. But Bo, that's 70% of his game is his elegance at the table with his chips.
Hey, Ed.
You want to buy elegance for 2,500?
Bo, listen, I have it on. I actually have this. I think maybe I caught Ed in a moment of weakness yesterday when we recorded. Maybe he had too much to drink. Maybe he doesn't even remember. I had him actually compliment my quote unquote dice throwing.
Ed did?
I complimented it?
Yeah.
I was drunk.
You.
I was drunk.
Too much brown water.
I've got it on record. So I could just play the tape. I said, so am I a precision
Feed your
shooter?
ego every time you need to feed your ego.
I'll play the tape. I'll have it as one of those little things that we could play on the podcast. I could press a button. But anyway, the point is a little bit about Fremont, since we're going there. Bonus ATS max is only $60. 25, 10.
Where? At
25.
Fremont?
Yeah.
They never had that bet.
Well, it's there.
I was there 3 weeks ago and they didn't have it.
It's there now. Maybe you weren't paying attention.
Dude.
It's there.
Did they still have this double odds?
Yes, double odds, although it's 2.5 on this. I found out the guy was nice
on
enough
the 6 and 8, you can go 2.5. Yes,
after I spent the whole night doing double odds. He's like, oh, by the way, you can go up to this 2.5. I was like, really?
You'd have been out of your 2,500 quicker if you'd have done that.
Yeah. So what happened is at that $60. By the way, I hit the small. I was the only person that night to just nail that thing. And Ed, I think I just need.
Is that the victory for losing?
Well, that's like the little tiny thing, just because there's the most you can win there is $3,000.
How do you lose $2,500 at Fremont?
Well, because at the end I just bet fucking absolutely.
Well, I know how you bet. I mean, that's a stupid question for me to ask you because I was
biding my time the whole time, just cruising. But then the last one I wanted to go for it, and guess
you just couldn't stand it.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to go for it. I just wanted
to dig yourself a hole.
I wanted to put the hammer down.
Here's your MO. You dig a hole and you're related when you dig yourself out. Look I just won 18,000, but I lost 15. I'm up 3.
I'm a spelunker or something like that. Isn't that what it is?
You're driving. It's just like you're betting.
Okay.
Have you ever driven with him?
Oh my God. What's wrong with my driving?
Oh, you're bumper to bumper. You're from California. Look at this. It's like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland.
Ed, was there a problem with my driving?
You were fast.
You were fast and close.
But safe.
And close. And then hard on the brakes.
Yeah.
Driving it, man.
I told you to speed up. I told you. I said, I'm buckled in. Go ahead and go fast, dude.
So.
Oh, God.
Listen, but that's that car. Ed, next time I'll have my Land Cruiser, and you will probably be saying, hey, does this thing go past 25 miles an hour because
I
it's a
hope
cruiser.
I get to ride in the old Land Cruiser.
Let me ask Ed a question right now.
Go ahead.
Ed, when you got into the to his fancy Jaguar, did you have a problem getting your head down underneath that thing and have a crick in your neck?
You know, my neck's been bothering me ever since I got back.
There you go. That's why, because you got into it.
Yep.
You got into his Jag.
That is not.
I got
that
in there.
long,
I have
dude.
to bend in half to get in there. So when I get into my truck, it's this is so great, awesome.
Bo, never get a Porsche. All right.
I would never get a Porsche.
Yeah, you will not. I have trouble getting into a Porsche. They're so low. All right. That's not even. That's what they have that handle there for. Anyway, the point is Fremont. I'm going to go back there. Ed, I figured out. I just had to adjust my toss a little lower, put a little less arc on it, and that's when my roll was great. And then I had a little too much velocity at the end on my fourth roll. So I think if I just fine tune that, we'll be good.
Were you shooting in the hook?
Of course, to be continued on my plan to, take that table apart. Okay.
And then
But I
they'll
lost
kick you-
2,500.
And then they'll kick you out.
That would be great. Now, perfect segue because I totally
I think you
forgot
should
about
go
this.
to Red Rock, dumbass.
Now you've got me wanting to go back to Red Rock.
I loved that table. I absolutely did. It was a fantastic table. Good crew too. Had a mind reader there as one of the
Zoltan?
yeah,
Mind reader?
Zoltan. It was a female Zoltan, and she was Asian with long black hair. Very attractive lady, and she knew exactly how I wanted to bet as soon as I walked up there. And in fact, she would tell me what to bet because she knew what was going to roll next.
Sweet. Hell. Just here, take my money, place my bets, and tell me when the game's over, right?
That's my kind of woman.
Yeah, exactly. I bought in with $620 on that table.
Classic.
And cashed out $1,400 in about an hour.
You didn't drop 12 or 1,500 for that?
No, I wasn't into losing.
Yeah, that's not your MO.
I'm not into losing that much money. I mean, I bought in for $620, and I didn't want to lose that. Right?
I know. Well, we don't want to lose anything.
I forgot how much I won. I had taken a picture of my chips, and I had $1,400.
Nice.
And I was shooting from stick right one, Bo, down the line towards the back wall.
Okay. If it works, it
The
works.
only reason I was doing that was because there was stick left one was taken. That was the only other guy on the table except the guy that drove me over there, and he was it straight out. He won his 20%, which was his goal, and a little bit more than double my money.
Did you do it on this last trip?
Yeah, did that on Monday,
Okay.
middle of the day Monday.
Is that the guy you met for breakfast?
Yeah, Dice Dr. Dan.
Triple D. That's what I called him.
My favorite bra size.
My favorite broadside, Triple D. Just a little large. Hey, 1010, I want to compliment you tonight.
What do you want to compliment me on?
Well, because you look relaxed. Your complexion on your face looks the best I've ever seen it.
It's them fancy lights, man. Don't let that stuff fake you.
Your mustache is all trimmed up nice.
Oh, thanks. It's a little bushy right
Yeah,
now.
you look dapper. You look happy. You look just like you're on the top
I'm not
of the world.
happy. I'm not happy. I'm not
You look
happy
happy as a
about
pit.
Fremont taking my money last
Oh,
night.
no. You gave them the money. They didn't take it from you.
Yeah,
You
they coulda
gave it to them.
back.
You gave it to
They
them.
could have not accepted the
No, it doesn't
gift.
work that way. You
Right.
can't ask for mulligans. There's no mulligans on
They'd
that.
be like, no, to any other
We tried
people,
that
I've
at the
given it.
Palms on one of those tosses. We asked for a mulligan.
Mulligan.
They
They
didn't
look at you like, yeah, right.
Before we get into what happened this past weekend, totally spaced on this, Bo, you have a Fremont story
I do.
that's epic. I don't know if you heard about this, Ed, but Bo got kicked out of the Fremont a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
Let's hear it, dude.
You want to hear the
Oh.
story?
Please.
Yes.
All right. So one of my clients from Hawaii, nice guy. He's about 5'3" or 4", and he wears these elevator shoes that are about 8 inches. I've not even seen them that big before. They're about this high. They're boots with an elevation like this because he's short, right?
Like Gene Simmons.
Yeah. So
Like Herman Munster.
Yeah, he came
That's
to
what
mind.
I
Yeah,
thought.
exactly. Okay, there you go. Nice guy, really nice guy.
Does he have a handle?
He does not have
Big
a handle
shoes.
that I know of. Yeah, there you go. Big shoes. The class went well. Everything's fine. Everything's cool. Because it was a half-day class that I said, and he's short bankrolled. So I said, that's why I said, let's go to Fremont because, it's dependent on buy-ins and so forth, right? $15 game, no big deal. So I pull in exactly where you did, underground parking. The guys know me. Pull in there, give them my $5. Don't scratch my truck. Get another $5. Come. They know the MO. Oh, here comes the guy with the blue truck. I like this truck. So they give me a ticket. And the ticket was parking ticket 3-4, 7. And I told my guy, my student, I said, well, that's a bad sign for a 7. So I said, let's go to the Chart House over there at the Golden Nugget. Let's get some lunch. So we went over there, ordered lunch. I like their fish tacos and green beans. Love it, right? Nice, healthy. I ordered a glass of wine. He ordered a beer, got relaxed, chit-chatted for 45 minutes, just kind of get in the mood. Go to pay the bill, computer system's down. And you can't leave till you pay the bill, and we can't do the bill. Oh, okay. So we sit there and just bullshit for a while. At the Fremont there at the Chart House, they got the fish tanks. They got these huge aquariums. I don't know how many gallons, 10,000 gallon aquarium. I mean, it's huge. And he knew every fish in there. He's looking at the fish, naming every fish off. I said, you know what? I said, computer system's down. This tells me that we probably shouldn't even be shooting today. He says, really? I said, yeah, that's a metaphysical energy thing. I goes, oh. And then next thing you know, okay, so the computer system's back up, pay the bill. We walk back over to Fremont. Probably the table you were on, 10-10. Stick right was open. That's my best spot. So I go up to stick right. It was wide open. Great. So he goes down the block for me at the other end. And the dice were out. Stick left 1. The guy was a setter. 2 weeks ago, they had the counter. The counter was working. He was on roll 12.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No counter there.
I looked at his toss. It looked great. They were landing nice. I love the way they respond to those tables there. So I went, okay, I'm going to tiptoe into this game. I go 96 across, including $15 game. Next roll 7. So, shit. Okay, that's not a good way to start. So the dice go to the next person. His girlfriend, she's a dice setter, had kind of a strange wind up. Never seen a toss like wind up release, but it was working for her. Okay, cool. So I made a bet on her. I lose that one. Made another bet, lose that one. Shit. Make another bet. I win that one. Then I lose another one. And then she 7'd out. So now the dice go to my student. He sets a point, throws a number, and I get a tap on the shoulder. And so the guy goes, Mr. Parker. And I go, yeah, Mr. Parker. Yeah, yes, sir. How you doing? He goes, we don't want your business anymore. You have to leave. I said, well, what do you mean I have to leave? I said, I haven't thrown the dice. I said, I've lost $132, and now you tell me I have to leave? He said, well, yeah, you don't remember me, do you? I said, no, I really don't. Why? What's up? He said, remember Suncoast? Suncoast. If you reel back to a few podcasts ago, I talked about the Suncoast story, right?
Yeah.
So he says, yeah, we kicked you out of Suncoast. I said, well, that's funny. I said, that's a Boyd Gaming property, and so is this, and you got several other ones, and I'm not kicked out of any other ones other than the one in Suncoast, but you're kicked out of here. I said, why? He said, we don't have to tell you. You got to pick your chips up now and leave. I said, absolutely not. He said, well, what do you mean no? I said, because if you have me color up with the dice are out, that's bad etiquette. And you shouldn't even be in this business to begin with if you want me to color up in front of this shooter. So I'm going to stand here until he 7s out or makes a pass. Then I'll color up and then I'll leave. So why don't you go back in the pit, behave yourself a little bit, and then we'll take it from there. He wasn't happy with me, and I was really not happy with him. So 2 rolls later, there's the 7, right? Private property, yeah, they can do whatever they want. Doesn't matter, right? So I colored up, and I told him, I said, you could have done this before I lost $132 or whatever the hell it was I lost, right? That didn't even faze him. So I went over there and
Did you ask for it back?
No, I didn't ask for it back.
You should not have let me play to lose. It's your fault I lost because you didn't come in here and tell me I couldn't play.
Yeah, but he wouldn't give me a reason. And the thing is, so I said, you mean to tell me that was 20 years ago and you're carrying this vendetta for 20 years just because I said you have the small,
short man syndrome,
short man complex, right?
Yeah.
And he was just pissed, and I was pissed. So what are you going to do? You can't fight City Hall. So I colored up, and then my student goes, what the hell just happened? So I said, we're going back to Chart House, and we're going to have another glass of wine, another beer, right? And so he goes, man, this was a great class you had. Man, nobody else could have done a class like this and get kicked out of the casino. He said, man, that was great. That's a great story to tell. I said, well, okay, maybe for you, but there you go. So anyway, that was the end of it. So I've been thinking about it. The last casino tiers that we did, I met a gal who's in management at Fremont. I'm going to get a contact with her and ask her to just override that guy because he can't be there 24/7. But I mean, that's ridiculous. I hope he didn't send my name out to all the other Boyd properties, and now I can't play at any of them because there's a lot of Boyd properties here.
Oh, yeah. Well, a ton.
I know. So there you go. There's that story, the long and short of it. So that was exciting.
That's a great story. I love that story.
The student just goes, wow, I couldn't take a class from anybody else and get kicked out of the casino. This is awesome.
I know. It's like legendary status.
Oh, God.
And then
Badass.
10 Ton goes there and donates $2,500 on your behalf.
It was like, yeah, I'll make it known. It was sort of like a contribution to get you reinstated.
We should
maybe.
just go there together. I'll just stand by you, and then you'll be guilty by association, and you'll get kicked out. Just like at Bellagio when you were thrown in the corner.
Yeah.
That's why he stopped you, because of me.
Yep.
And now he's retired, thank God.
That's awesome, though. I would have loved that. I think that's
These
so
things,
cool.
you can't make this stuff up. You just can't. You just cannot make this stuff up.
So,
But
Bo,
I told him, I said, you think like you're the only casino in town? Are you kidding me? There's hundreds of casinos in town.
I could see why all the Hawaiians go and play that table, though. I mean, Ed, I really think that table
like
is a
hats.
nice table.
Yeah, they want a hat or a jacket.
I do too. I like a good hat and a good jacket. But man, Bo, did you like that table? That table has the most.
I'd love to.
It's the
I've made
hardest
money on that.
table I've ever
Oh yeah,
played
if
on.
they let me shoot, I can make money. But if they kick me out, I can't.
Ed, I think you could destroy that table.
Oh, Ed could. Ed
I've
would.
been on that table. I don't ever intend to go back.
What
Really?
the hell? Why?
Well, number one, it's freaking long, and I can buy a jacket cheaper, and I can lose money there.
Okay.
And number two, they just kicked my buddy out.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
California, there's a lot of Hawaiians over there too, but those tables are really bouncy at Cal.
I don't play downtown.
I like the Strip better. I love the Palms now.
I will say this public service announcement before we get into the weekend.
Give it to us, please.
I'm extremely disappointed in what Caesars is doing to their tables,
Yeah, what'd Caesar do?
Let's hear it.
in particular at Paris. Number one, they moved a table from the old pit, which was there, kind of in the traditional craps pit.
By the cage.
They moved it to the end of a whole lot of blackjack tables right there on the main row, right in front of it's right in front of the fountain. It's right there.
Yep.
And when they moved it, they apparently damaged the table. There's a mound that runs about 2 feet from the edge. It's a pretty high mound, and it runs all your dice into the corner. And so you may remember, 10 Ton, I told everybody not to play that table because I got on it one morning at stick left one, and every one of my dice were running to the corner. I got to looking, and it was because there's a mound there. I mean, you're like shooting on a hill.
It's like miniature golf, Ed.
That's miniature golf.
So what I did, and then stupid me, but it worked. I went back there. I was like, is it really that bad? I went back. I wanted to check it. They had a $10 game.
Oh, wow.
I think I played it as a $15 table. Problem is early in the morning. That's the only one they had open. Okay. So I'm at stick left one, and I started throwing into the opposite hook across the table, because that was more level and it was keeping the dice from running to the right, because if they hit and bounced out, they were going to hit that ridge that's in the table and they just kind of sit there. And so I think I hit one side and maybe won my money back from the previous trip, but I would not play that table, folks. Just public service announcement number one, don't play that table. Public service announcement number two, really, really surprised me. Now, I've always loved the tables at the Cromwell, and the Cromwell tables are the same as they have always been, but the dealers were like they had just graduated from Gold Coast without a diploma.
Oh, no. Because they used to be really, really good dealers in there.
They were some of the most professional, best dealers ever. And I went there twice, and both crews were they didn't even know, luckily they had a good pit boss that was trying to teach them how to pay the bets, but they had no clue. They couldn't add.
Were they break-in dealers?
Well, same as Gold Coast.
Wow, that's not good.
No, it was terrible. So I advise anybody that if you want good dealers, if you want good tables, play those tables, but you're going to get bad dealers.
But they used to be awesome.
Yeah, I was wondering when you said that, Ed, because that didn't impress me when I had gone through there and played there with Toranaga.
Where, Gold Coast?
No, the Cromwell. Even when you and I were there, Bo, a year
In
or so
November, the crew was okay, but the difference between November and last week, it's basically would be on my no-fly zone. I may never walk in there. And they're changing. They're going to remodel the
They're
Cromwell.
changing it to Vanderpump.
Vanderpump.
Vanderpump is going to be the new name. She's got a restaurant at Caesars, Flamingo, and Paris. And they're going
And
to
so they're going
change
to change the whole casino to Vanderpump.
and they're remodeling the whole enchilada.
Yeah. And so who knows what they're going to do with the tables and the crews at that point.
Those crews used to dress really better than any of the other dealers. And
They
with
were
no name tags.
spectacular. They were spectacular.
It was like you're going to Europe or someplace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were awesome, and they treated you nice. And they didn't really, yell at you or anything. If you missed the wall, they would be cordial. They were respectful.
Yes.
So I love that. That was great.
I've always had nothing but respect for the dealers at Cromwell in the past, but boy, after this weekend, I'm like, I may never go back.
Well, how's the pit? I mean, the pit crew used to be really, really cool. Are they changed too?
Well, the pit guy that was there was only one guy. He was working box and he was working with those people, but he was really working with the dealers and teaching them, okay, if you can't reach across, stack them side by side and push the one closest to you toward, he was having to tell them everything.
So you're in dealer school.
Yep.
Oh,
sure was.
That slows the game down.
Wasn't a pleasant experience. One of my favorite casinos is gone.
Yep. They might as well kick you out, Ed.
I wish they would. That way I couldn't go back.
We got to start a club, the Kick Me Out Club.
I ain't been kicked out in a long time.
KMO Club.
I got 6 now.
I like that.
You got to try to
so
catch
far,
me. I got
you're
6.
the president.
Yeah, the president. I'm going to be the president of the Kick Me Out Club. Oh my God. At least there's a lot of casinos there.
Hey, Bo.
Yes, sir.
I got another question here from D-Doc. Ed, I might have asked you this, but we'll get Bo's opinion. He said, do either of you know throwing methods to eliminate the double pitch? I've previously asked Nate and Heavy, and all I received was empty gazes. I have a few theories, but that is all they are so far.
Well, it has to do with your grip and your release.
Yep.
The double pitch has to do with your grip and your release.
So, what is it? 11% is the standard.
11.11, I think.
11.11% of the time is standard normal double pitch. If you can get your mechanics correct on your grip and toss, if you can get the goal is this. You're never going to eliminate double pitches. Not all double pitches are bad because there's only 2 of them that hurt you if you're throwing the right set. If you can get that double pitch down to 8% instead of 11, you can make some freaking money quick. But you got to be good at it. You've got to practice it. And I'll be honest, it's very, very difficult to get below.
Well, Ed, if you can't correct your toss and you're double pitching a higher percentage than normal, okay, say you're double pitching 18%, then simply go to a set where a double pitch doesn't hurt you.
Correct.
There are 6 and 8 sets that'll give you 5 and 9s. There are 5 and 9 sets that'll give you 6 and 8s.
Yep.
And that's a true double pitch. And so if you do that consistently, who cares? You haven't fixed your mechanics.
Yeah. So
you're not going to have a short roll.
And I agree, because people get hung up on those kind of numbers. And actually what they're experiencing is an extreme amount of DI. They just don't know which set to use.
That's right. Well, I was at Paris one night with some of my students. They're both doctors. I've been using a 6-8 set. I had about a 19 or 20 roll hand. And guess what? I hit not 1 6 or 8. I was killing the 5 and 9s. So when I got done, they said, are you upset because you didn't hit a 6 or 8? I go, absolutely not. Because I'm on the 5 and 9, collect, press. You make money. That's what it's about.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't see any 6s or 8s. Oh, what a shame, right? Well, no. Take what they give you.
Who cares? If you're hitting 9s, bet the 9s, dude.
That's right.
That's it. Exactly.
If you're stuck on 6 and 8s because you're doing a 6-8 set, you're throwing 5 and 9s, you don't have any money in it because you think the VIG's too high at 4%. Well, then you should go play bingo.
Yeah. It only pays bad if you hit it. I mean, that's true. 5 and 9s pay worse than any other number, really. But
if you hit
they
20
don't pay
of
bad
them,
unless you hit it. So just hit it.
But you're collecting money. Who cares, right?
Right.
Hey, so this is something from Cool Whip.
Cool Whip. Is there anything like Cool Whip's like a whipped cream.
Cool
That's
Whip's
not in a
handle. Yeah,
it's
man.
not in a can that you spray. You take Cool Whip, take the lid off, and put it on your whatever, your fruit or your strawberries, whatever.
Peach
right?
cobbler.
There you go. Peach cobbler. There you go.
All right.
Cool it. All right.
Listen, he said, I've been out 4 times so far this year. Second time I made a little. First time I broke even. The last time didn't work out the way I wanted. But I'm only down $1 so far this
He's
year.
a winner.
Yeah.
He's a
I
winner.
mean, hey, man. Wow, that's great. And he said, would you and Ed, and I'm looping you in, Bo, discuss the pros and cons of stadium craps? I've never played it, but as a low roller, it sounds like it could be more affordable with my win/loss record than playing at a $15 or $25 table while in Vegas in a few weeks. Your thoughts on stadium craps? I've never, ever played it. I should try it.
My thought on stadium craps is I have never, ever played it either.
Really?
Nope. I like the real deal. I don't like this electronic stuff and all this other stuff. I save those for the millennials as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing the boat. I don't know. I've got some students that love it. I don't know. Ed, have you played stadium craps?
I've made 2 tosses. What does that tell you?
Okay, so we're all in the same boat, right? I'd rather go to a real table with a real dice than the real deal.
You know, Gargoyle loves it, but you're playing about a 6-foot table and you are throwing real dice on a felt table.
Is it felt or is it the hard plastic surface?
No, it's felt. It's felt. It's about a 6 to 8 foot table, somewhere right in there.
It's a tiny, tiny table.
Yeah, it's a tiny table and it's got cameras and all this stuff. The one at Horseshoe, for example, has got sensors in the back wall. This is the problem I don't like. It's got sensors in the back wall. So if you don't hit it or you don't hit it hard enough, they've got to call over the pit boss from somewhere on the other side of Las Vegas to drive over in a limo to reset the system.
Are you serious?
No, I'm serious. I mean, they've got to reset the table because the sensors turned everything off because you didn't hit the back wall hard enough or hit the back wall at all. So I think if you were probably good at some kind of Howard rock and roller off axis toss, you might be better at it and see if you can just catch a hand. You're still betting electronically. You're still, it's got a little screen up there. They transfer from wherever you're sitting. They transfer your screen to the screen that's shooting when you shoot. So you're still making your bets, but you're making them electronically. There is no chips in the way. There's nothing out there, and it's a short table. But most people don't practice on a short table if they practice. So I've avoided it.
Okay, here's the problem I've got with what you just said. You place your bets electronically, right? That's correct, right? So now you're mixing up right brain and left brain in the middle of your roll, and that just takes away from the game. So you got to focus on, what am I going to bet now? Now I throw that. I don't think I could do that because you can't get into an ebb and flow like you do in a regular craps game, because then all that comes automatic. You know what you're going to do. You know what your next move's going to be. But on that electronic game, you got to push buttons and do this and everything else. Shit, I don't see how you could possibly catch a hand unless you're really, really lucky.
I think it's difficult. Now, for a lower bankroll and for a newer person, just like other electronic tables, I guess it's okay. If you're going to shoot random, shoot random. Bet small, win small.
Sure. Bet small, win big.
Sometimes. That's all I got to say on that deal. I'm not a fan. I know a lot of people that like it. I'm not a fan.
Well, I've got another question for you, though. Forget about stadium craps and all that stuff.
Are you sorry now you asked the question?
No, maybe I'll start playing it. No, I've always meant to try to play it. Theoretically, seems like it should be fucking easy to rip off a ton of fucking rolls on a short table because it's almost like playing a different game.
It is a different game. Have you practiced
like a small little game of bocce?
It is a totally different game. If you're going to practice throwing it from the stick into it. When I used to play the tub in Harris, they had a 6-foot tub, real table.
Was that when they had it in the sport at Harris here in Vegas?
No, it was down in Biloxi. It was open all night. They would shut it off during the day, but it was the only table open during the middle of the night and all that. I would practice from stick right one throwing to the right because it was a short table.
Sure.
I would practice that toss for that short table. Specifically for that table. Yes.
Yeah, they used to have some 8-foot tub tables in Vegas in various spots. Because at Harris there, they had one in the sports book. And we went in there one time. We just lit that sucker up. One dealer, right? And the dominant number was the 9. And we had $100 bet on the 9 because the shooter was shooting from the end. One of my students from New York, he couldn't hit anything but 9s. And he'd missed the wall a few times. The stick man, since we had $100 in there for him, he would grab those dice before anybody would come over and yell at us and send it right back to the shooter. It was awesome. It was an awesome game. It was just great.
I had 7 ace deuces in a row one time.
And tell me you were on the horn and the field.
I was in the horn. I wasn't in the field.
Was it a crapless craps?
No.
Did it have a repeater?
No.
Okay. That's a shame. 10-ton would have loved that one. He'd have been all over that.
7 ace deuces in a row on that freaking tub down there in Biloxi.
Wow.
And it was a love-hate relationship. I mean, you either killed it or it killed you. So
no in between.
You know, it was very, very bouncy. It was extremely bouncy little table.
I bet it wasn't as bouncy as the Virgin. Not a Virgin, but the Virgin on Paradise.
A fat Virgin. It was as bouncy as a fat Virgin.
Oh, man.
Now we're getting carried away here, guys. I'm talking about the Virgin over there on Paradise in Vegas, dude. Oh, my God.
So listen, Bo, I want to touch on another thing. When I was shooting, I'd gotten in a conversation with Jaybird, Camper, and Two Seam. It's about 2 different aspects here. Pressing sister numbers and that whole concept of pressing sister numbers. That was part of the delay, by the way, Ed. You know, even in the stick change, but it was that sort of betting strategy because with an awkward dealer, that's always going to fuck shit up.
Sure. We even talked in class, 10-10.
I've never seen you do it.
No.
I never see Ed do it.
No.
And I only do it in one specific increment ever on a 4 and 10, just at a one certain level, $50 level. It's become very, I guess you'd say it's popular, isn't it, Ed? It's a popular thing to press, hey, press the 5 and 9, press the 6 and 8, press the whatever. It's been made popular. People do it. Why don't either of you do it? And why don't you like it? And why don't you advise people?
I'll tell you exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
Each number is an independent occurrence. The 6 mathematically has nothing to do with the 8. Vice versa with the 9 and 5, they have nothing. It's an independent occurrence. So here's the deal. You mentioned you threw 6 or 7 or 8 6s in a row, right?
Just a shit ton of 6s.
Okay. How many 8s were in there?
Actually, Ed,
they came in later. He switched from 6s to 8s, which was a warning.
Okay. Here's why you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the 6 hits, you collect, right? Then if you go to press it and you're pressing the 8 with it, you're taking money and pressing a number that's not hitting. So you're going to have the same risk. When the 6 hits again, you're going to get paid less because you should have pressed the whole thing on the 6. So you collect the 6, you press the 6, full press. Collect the 6, full press it. Forget the 8. The 8's not rolling. Same thing with any other number. Press the number that's hitting. Do not press the number that's not hitting. Mathematically, it'll never work for you. You agree with that, Ed?
Yep. And I'll even go one step further. It's stupid to press the sister number.
Oh, really? I mean, so what's going on in someone's mentality? They're thinking
they watch YouTube instead of listening to professional craps players.
But Ed, they're thinking, and I'm guilty of this because I used to do this. I got
news for you, 10-ton.
What?
Way back when I was working with Heavy and we're doing a lot of our stuff, you always press the 6 with the 8. You always press there's a betting strategy for that.
I know that's part of the main line.
But when you figure it out mathematically, it's not as healthy. Well, if they would go up equally every time, okay, it would work. But they don't. Very seldom do they.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. That
press
no one's
the
talking
number
about.
that hits.
Is rolling.
Don't press the number that's not hitting. It's that simple.
So Ed, but somehow, they're going to sacrifice a little bit so that they don't lose out on the potential of this other, let's say, an 8 hitting.
They're also sacrificing wins by doing that stupid shit. Right?
Okay, for example, say you started out with $30 6 and 8. You've got your 6 up to $120. Okay. So now that 6 hits again, so you get $140, right? So now the 8 finally hits, you're going to get $35. Okay. But look at the money you would have lost in there if you pressed them together all the way up there. You wouldn't have got that 140. And then you can go and you get up to 420 like you did. You'd have never been to 420 twice.
Yeah. You press them just as they hit.
Exactly.
And I'll even do something like you never know exactly early on in a toss if there's going to be a dominant number. But let's assume there is. But you don't know which one it's going to be. And so the 8 rolls first. My initial inclination is I'm going to assume that's going to be the dominant number.
Yeah.
And so I will go from 30 to 42, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they roll a 6.
That's okay.
I don't always go to 42 on the 6. I've already got an 8 sitting at 42. I may go ahead and collect.
The 35.
Yeah. Go ahead and collect the 35. Right then, all you're worried about is covering your initial outlay. Then they roll another 6. Okay, I may have made a mistake. Let's go to 42 on both of them and see which one's going to win this race.
Perfect.
We had a podcast on this before, 10 ton. The 6 and 8 are racing each other. Which one's going to win? The one that's hitting is going to win. Usually, it's like a 6 and a 5 or a 6 and a 9 or, that kind of thing.
It's usually,
Those two, it's not the sister number that's dominant. It's one of the others. That's like second dominant, if you want to call it that. Usually, in a decent roll, you end up with 2 numbers that are not sister numbers that outpace every other number on the layout.
For sure.
And I like that. I'd rather have 2 numbers outpace everything else because you can really jack them up that way.
Yeah. I know in a lot of my rolls that are good, it's not equally distributed between the sister numbers. It's usually, I think one's going to be higher. Like I said, in that toss, it's a 6, 8s, and 10s. Obviously, case in point. But Ed, sometimes I have a shit ton of 5s, hardly any 9s. It's never a shit ton of 5s, and it's more rare I'm heavy on 5s and heavy on 9s. Or
the sister press number, that just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Like he said, mathematically, and it doesn't work realistically.
But in their defense, are they just sort of hedging in a weird way? Like a FOMO, I don't want to miss out. I'm prepping up this number so that when it does hit, it'll be loaded. And I've taken half of my profits from this number.
That is not what they're doing.
Really? It seems like that's what they're doing.
That's not FOMO, because if they had FOMO, they'd press a number that was hitting, right? They've watched some strategy that it's better to spread this shit out than it is to keep pounding the same number.
How many times you been in a game, 30 roll hand, pick a number, say the 5. The 5 has never hit.
On Monday, it was got to be close to a 30 roll, probably in the 20s at least.
And never ruled a 4. Never rolled a 4.
So why would you have money on the 4?
I took mine down at one point.
Or have money and pressing the 4, even worse than that, pressing the 4 and it never hits ever.
Yeah. Imagine 10 ton if you had taken half of your 10s, the winnings on your 10s, and pressed that 4.
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't have won shit.
You wouldn't have not have brought home near as much money, and you would have give the casino back 50% of the wins on your 10.
With the same risk.
Yeah.
The same dollar risk.
I think maybe it's because people are afraid to make a decision on certain things. And they're like, well, a better decision is a diluted amount on more numbers.
They may get scared because they've got a $250 10 and they feel better because they got 125 on the 4 and 125 on the 10. But I don't buy that as even feeling better. I'm scared because I want I want that $500 chip in my rack. I want that purple. I want hit that 250 for me, dude. I ain't worried about the 4 you hadn't thrown the 4. I'm fine with just leaving that quarter sitting over there in case you hit it. But you know what? If you hit it, I'm same betting it because you hadn't been throwing them.
So this rolls right on into the concept of betting across.
You can't hit every number at the same time.
I know. And that's why I have a big problems with across betting.
Yes.
Because I feel like not all these numbers are going to hit. Maybe some aren't even going to hit, let alone the distribution that's not just going to raise up equally like the tide on all the numbers it's going to be jagged. Yeah. So in my head, Ed, I'm always it is like a little guessing game. Hopefully, when you're throwing what numbers, you at least have a guide on the numbers that you're going to pick, which in my head are going to be 3, usually one of the 4. Which one am I going to be more dominant? The ends, one of the 5s and 9s, and middle numbers. At least I start there. But I think everyone, when they betting these across systems, they're not even thinking about that. They're just, yeah. And I think you can end up fucking yourself a little easier that way.
Well, look at the strategy. Go 640. Go 640 across. Look at 10 10. 640 across, hit it twice and take it down. I got a problem with that because you got a lot of risk, right? And you 7 out within, the first or second roll, you're deep in crap.
Okay, Ed, what do you think of that? See, I'm not a big fan of what you just said, Bo, which is the big across.
I'm not either.
And then regression down. I'm a fan of regressing certain numbers down, but
Sure.
not the blanket across throwing out. Ed, what do you think? Because I know you don't do it, but you have a lot of people that do it.
Well, just because I know them doesn't mean it's a good thing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, so I'm saying, I mean, you must be thinking like, okay, well, why are they doing it? They're doing it.
They're doing it because they're dumbasses.
Well, the thing is,
look,
but Ed, listen, Ed, listen. When you first get into this game, the FOMO comes in, right? You're afraid of missing out, right? So that's why they go across. I mean, they used to do that years and years ago, and I guess the new people are still doing it. As we grow into the game, we've learned a lot, and we'd never do that again. I mean, we look at dominant numbers and go for those, unless you have knowledge of a shooter, what numbers he's dominant before you even start. That's even better.
I can tell you, I took a chance on 10 ton.
Took a chance.
Couple of reasons on that last hand that he threw.
Let's hear it, Ed. I'm curious. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I love this too. I'm going to just savor this. Okay.
This will help your ego.
Go ahead. Take your time. Take your time. A full-length extended version of this podcast is available exclusively on our Patreon page. New episodes drop weekly every Tuesday. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and will tell all of your fellow craps-playing friends about it. Please follow Casino Tears on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. If you like the show, please rate it 5 stars and leave a review. The best and most fun way to contact us would be to call and leave a message on our official Casino Tears vent line, 229-07. You can also email us at no7@casinotears.com. And lastly, to help support this podcast, you can visit our Patreon at patreon.com/casinotears. On behalf of Roll to Win Craps from Alabama and 10 Ton is #1 from Las Vegas, thanks for listening.